the treating each practice, each rep like a game, full speed, whether it's carrying out his fakes, moving around to throw the ball away. It's like each practice rep he's getting, he's making it like a game, which that'll be a big help as we get into the season and as he continues to practice that way throughout the season.
And then with Terry, what kind of things can you do now even to help make sure that when he gets back out in the field that there's not this long transition period to get that rhythm and connection back with Jayden? Yeah,
with him or just kind of overall?
With Terry in particular.
Yeah, I mean, there hasn't been a ton of contact with him. He's been here, but he's been working with the trainers. So until he gets back on the grass, that's when we'll start building that back up.
At that point, what can you do at that point to make sure it doesn't take a long time?
Yeah, I think, that's one of those deals. It's just time on task, and luckily what they had last year to build a lot of rapport and chemistry, and Terry understands our system going into a year or two, so that should expedite the process. But to me, it's time on task together on the grass is really the only way that you can continue to build.
Was there anything you were unhappy with from that New England game, or did it show you anything you needed to work on?
Yeah, you try to, improve in some area, no matter who's going out there, who's starting, who's playing. You want to be more efficient. I think, the turnovers were not good. I thought we had a chance to make some plays early in that game that we did not, and then it snowballed a little bit. Guys started pressing, but when guys have their opportunities, they got to make plays, and so hopefully we cleaned up some things. And I think the ball security is probably the biggest issue. To turn it over twice, that can't happen in any game.
Kliff, obviously you guys are without some offensive linemen right now, especially inside. What do you kind of make of your interior line right now, and including the guys on the depth, because you have also the factors of those guys also?
Yeah, I think they've done a nice job stepping up. Julian Good-Jones and Chris Paul. We moved Wiley in some. He's shown his versatility. Nick Allegretti started last year. Has done a nice job, and so we'll see how it shakes out when Brandon and Sam get back. But it was good to have those guys get that type of rep and us to be able to move some guys around and see how it would function if something did happen.
In the RB room, we obviously talked about some of the main guys, but in the scrimmage the other day, some of the other guys, Felton and Chris Rodriguez, had some good moments. It's obviously going to be some interesting decisions. What do you kind of make of that room, and particularly those guys at the back end? What are they kind of showing you?
Yeah, I mentioned it the first time we talked. I think all 6 or 7 guys in there have a place in this league. They all have dynamic traits, all have things to do really well, and guys, when they had their opportunity, have played at a high level, especially last year when C-Rod got his chance, J-Mac. Kaz has shown some good stuff. Obviously, everybody's talked about Bill. So it's a deep group, and we just got to see how it shakes out.
Hey, good morning, Coach. Good morning. Kind of a football theology question, if you don't mind. So we talk about balance all the time, and to some people that means like 50% run, 50% pass. What does balance and balanced offense really mean to you, though, as a coordinator?
Yeah, to me, it's basically about how can we be most effective against that defense on that day. I think that's what it comes down to, whether we got to run it 70 times and throw it 20 or vice versa. It's like the balance to be the best offense you can be versus that defense, that scheme, that personnel group that day is like what it is to me. I don't think you can go and say, hey, we're going to run it 25 times and throw it 25 times. Defenses change, personnel changes, guys get injured, maybe their personnel change, and so you just have to be willing to do what you do best on that certain day.
Hey, good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
I'm going back to the running back room because we did talk about that in the last time that you spoke with us, specifically on Brian Robinson Jr. What have you seen so far out of him this camp?
Yeah, he's continued to progress. He's a guy that when you put the pads on and you really practice full speed is when he really shows up. I thought he had his best practice against New England when we did the competition versus them before the game, and just a guy who keeps getting better in our system. I think he understands it more and is more and more comfortable.
Hi, Coach. Looking at this offense overall, have you seen them come together, starting to mash and gel?
Yeah, I think that's a work in progress. There's no doubt. I don't think until we get some of these other pieces back, we're going to know exactly what we are. We've had some good opportunities to see other guys get work in these positions, but when you don't have your kind of projected top 2 outside receivers, one of your projected or both of your projected inside pieces at guard, it's not going to really give you the chance to gel or really build that relationship until you get everybody else on the grass. So that's something we have to get to over the next 3 weeks.
And have you been able to see from the wide receiver room what you need to see from that group, and how are they shaping up together?
Yeah, it's still a work in progress. Some guys are taking advantage of the opportunities and some have not, and that's what we wanted to see. Without Terry and Noah getting much, we know what Debo is, and then there's a lot of guys that are trying to earn a roster spot, and so that competition has been good, but I think there's still a lot to show over the next 3 weeks.
Coach, your relationship with Jayden, it looks like he is very good at remembering plays and things like that. Even last year, I don't remember seeing him wear a sleeve or anything like that. Is there something different that you do that's unique to how you know?
No, I wish I could take credit for that. That's God-given. We'll go out to walkthroughs, and I'll screw up a play, and he'll nail it. So he's a lot more cerebral on that stuff than I am. I think he just has one of those photographic memories. The first time we install it, first time we say it, he can tell you where everybody's going, what they're doing, their job. And so that's a God-given thing, not a coaching thing.
Morning, Kliff. More on Jaden. As he continues to grow and evolve, compared to last year, are you giving him more responsibility or more tasks that not necessarily you didn't do in year one, but now you are implementing in year two? And give an example of that. Yeah,
I think just organically really controlling the entire process, mastering the system. He's done a great job. So he's seeing things pre-snap, getting us into different things that maybe he wouldn't have seen last year when it was moving a little bit faster for him. But you definitely see, particularly the protections, really taking pride in getting us slid the right way. And then a lot of the checks that we have in our offense, trying to get us into our best matchup, get us into our best pass play, best run play versus certain looks. He's been all over those this whole camp. So that's a big jump from just trying to execute the play call to really seeing it and getting us in the best situation most times.
Hey, Kliff. Going back to Terry real quick, you talk about, gelling with the offense on the grass. How much work are you getting with him in the classroom, and kind of at this point of the season, how high value is that? Is the meeting work? Yeah,
I think, not as much as we would if he was full go. There's no doubt. But I think, like I said, I'm huge on walkthroughs, on practice, things like that, because until you get on the grass and actually do it and feel the timing, feel the depths of routes and things of that nature, I don't know exactly how much you can get out of that. So I think we're kind of at that point to where we need to start getting those guys when they're available out there and gelling and seeing what we are as an offense.
Hey, Kliff, good morning. Wes Welker's a guy you've known for a long, long time. He's listed as in the front office, but we see him out there every day in the field. Like, what exactly is Wes doing for you guys, and what does he bring to a football team? Yeah, he does a lot. I thought DQ had a great thought on that. Adam had a great thought on that. He's helping the defense a lot, bringing an offensive perspective into their room, and then obviously just as a tool for any of the current players and receivers to just bump ideas off of, for me to use for ideas. He's kind of a jack of all trades for us right now, but a guy that's competitive, can share that type of wisdom, those type of stories, the things he's been through with our current team. He's been an incredible addition to us. Yeah. One more thing on Jaden. There's so much that goes into that position that's like not football related. I guess, have you seen him handle that side of things? And has there been a change in that, given all that comes out of a guy when you have the success he did in year one?
Yeah, I have not. I mean, he's very laid back, still treats people tremendously well, very attentive in meetings, wants to be great, gets earlier and earlier on his walkthroughs. So if anything, I've seen pretty as much as overall routine and kind of process improve greatly from year one to year two.
Kliff, this might be a weird question for the offensive coordinator, but what have you learned about Joe Witt as a coach, as a leader, just watching his style, the little you get to interact with him?
Yeah, very, very competitive. I mean, he wants to win every drill, fully invested. Guy works his tail off. He's up here all hours of the day. And then I like that he's not afraid to adapt to his personnel. And, last year, some injuries, things that happened, trades, he was able to kind of adjust and keep going. And the same with this year. It's like always evolving, and it's been really fun to compete against his defense and the challenge of it. But just him as a man, the competitive drive, the leadership, the work ethic, it definitely has impacted me just watching him on a daily basis.
Coach, we talk a lot about Jaden's instinct, but about your instinct. I was watching the documentary on the Kingdom, and they interviewed you about Patrick Mahomes. Your instinct on what you see in a quarterback, even before they get to a point of stardom, like you've been around these. What are you, when you talk about the players' instincts? What are your instincts? What do you look for?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bunch of stuff. I think those are two guys that anybody could have said, hey, they're going to be really good. You know, it wasn't Patrick, when you watch his high school film, it was like unique to anything I've ever seen. He just had a incredible vision of the field. It didn't look like a guy who'd been brought up playing the position in all the different camps and quarterback tutors, but he led and he moved the football. And with Jaden, just watching him in college, his ability to progress was very unique to a lot of college kids. You can set it up in college. A lot of times you get them to their first read and they'll cut it loose. But his ability, with all his natural running ability, to stay in the pocket, progress through, the touch passes, the accuracy, it was just unique to most of the players I've ever scouted. Thank you.